Ladies and gentlemen, in the top left corner, we have Tank Daddy, the Zerg. In the bottom right, we have Dufflet, the Terran. And today, we're going to do something different. We're going to follow my bird's eye view, because after watching ViBEs Bronze to Grandmaster Series, I've realized how important macro is and how much I've been slipping on it. So, that's been the focus lately. Right here, all that I saw was, that he's got a pack of lings, so it's going to be difficult to expand. I think that was a 12 pool. I could be wrong, I don't know my Zerg builds, but he had a lot of lings for this early in the game, and I knew if he sent them over to my side of the map, he'd be able to delay my natural, and so I figured I'd build on the high ground. That's why I really love getting that 17th SCV out towards their main, because you can see he has a little scouting guy out. I make my bunker on the high ground in case he wants to try and do a baneling bust. And there we go. The tank's online, so I'm going to be able to expand finally. He held me back a little, but as you can see on my main base, I was still making SCVs, so it's not terrible. And here I go to transfer him. But yeah, so I knew they was just going to probably try a big roach all in. Not positive though, not positive, but that's usually what I start thinking when I see a Zerg that's like early aggressive and slaps down just a Roach Warren. I was gonna do the thing where I drop both bases, but I'm expanding to my third, so I figure I don't really want to do the aggro yet because I have a hunch that the Zerg's gonna be pretty aggro and I want to stay on the defensive. And if I send those medevacs out, the Zerg would easily be able to kill my third if the roach timing happened to hit now. So I don't send out the drops yet. That one Zerg is really delaying my third. There we go, we get it down. Oh, I scanned for a third. I was like, why did I scan and not look at it? Also now, I see that the Zerg hasn't expanded to a third, so there's definitely going to be a strong timing coming to hit me. He's doing a unit focus, an army focus, and here comes the attack. And if my medevacs were out there, I would have had no chance of defending. I sent my SCVs in. This is something that I've been really goofing up on. I send the SCVs in without the military, and so they just go to die rather than buffering for my troops to do some damage. I moved my tank down to try and defend the third, but I was too slow on picking it up. But I do repel the attack. And again, actually I don't have more workers than the Zerg, but he's still on 2 bases, so it's not too bad. Now I load up the medevacs because he delayed me. He did some damage to me. He killed my third. So I want to do some counter damage to him. His roaches might still be nearby, but it's going to be a lot easier to protect my second. I'm not having to protect a base on the low ground, so it's not as scary now. I also built another tank because they're just so good against roaches. Sure, I'm deviating from ViBEs build a little bit. I also accidentally sent both medevacs to the same spot, but it's alright. And now I see that he actually does have a pretty big army. So there's a chance that he could push through my tank line. So I hurry those medevacs up, and I figure it's actually decent to have a double drop in his main, because that's really going to put counter pressure on him. A double drop in your main is not a good feeling. And I figure it's probably going to force him back regardless of if it does damage to him or not. I kill the queen, sim the troops, and now I'm ignoring it because this is where it's easy to get caught up on. If I just stared at those troops, I would have been able to get my third up and going. I move it out now. I don't keep it on the high ground to turn it into an orbital because I want it back on the ground as quick as possible so the SCVs can be hitting those mineral patches. And there we see, I did bring the Zerg's entire army back to his main. So that gives me a little bit of time to build my army back up, lay down some defenses around my third. I load up one drop because I want to continue the harass and try and keep him in his main. But I didn't want to send out 2 drops because likely the Zerg is going to bring his army straight back to my base after that counter pressure. If I know how a simple platinum player thinks, he has to go and defend. He's done defending, so he wants to attack again. As you can see, I have way too many SCVs for the amount of bases I have. So if you see in the production tab, I just got another base going. I set down my drop. I see that it's his whole army is over at his 3rd. So if anything, I know that there's not an attack happening right at this moment. So I got some scouting information down. That's a 10 out of 14 natural, whereas my main is like 12 out of 8. So right there, that's a slap on the wrist. That's a bad Chris. That's a macro mistake. Those matter so much, and that's what we're looking for. As you can see, I haven't really checked my bases for saturation count, and I haven't been adjusting that much this game. So it's really hard, but you have to make that a habit of yours. Is like every 30 seconds to a minute, check your bases, make sure the mineral lines are all correct. On the right side, I have quite a lead on the Zerg now, both with workers and army. It's because his macro really wasn't up to par. I mean, this army that he has now is pretty big, but it would have been a lot better if he sent that when I sent my double drop to his base. He probably would have been able to roll me over. No, I'm sending out the SCVs to their death. Okay, I have the SCVs going while my army is blasting at the army, or at the Zerg's army. So that wasn't terrible. And I've got too many SCVs anyways right now. So that wasn't the worst thing in the world. I saved the 3rd with that maneuver, so I'll say the boys were able to be called there. Making that extra command center really helped. But again, 11 out of 16. And that's pretty bad saturation on my 3rd. It's sad too, because that's such an easy fix, but it's just, you have to make it your priority. I'm getting attacked by mutas. You can see I'm not staring at them. Instead, I decided to build a few turrets around my mineral lines while I just kind of move my army towards the mutas. If you look in the bottom, I'm continuously spending my money. The Zerg's having trouble doing so, but my money's been very well spent. It's been staying down near like 50 to 300 for a lot of this game. So that aspect of macro has been going pretty well. In fact, it's going a little too well. I think I'm at the point where I have too many barracks. It's hard to balance that. Production facilities to income. Alright. I set my SCVs to repair. My army's already moving out, so I'm not going to bring them back. Instead, I'm just going to set my rally point closer to my natural. And I'm able to save the planetary because he pulls his Zerg back. He pulls Zerglings back because I'm attacking him. And that throws the pressure off of my base, because he wasn't even really cracking my planetary because the SCVs were repairing it fast enough. And here I go. I send him my big attack since I was maxed out. And his mutas aren't going to be able to do enough against that little attack, and a pack of Zergs aren't either. And while my army is doing the attacking, I set the A move just to attack the nearby bases, while I continue to keep my macro going. I get my NG bays getting 3-3. I check on how my army's doing, and I see that they're winning the fight, so I let them continue doing their thing rather than pulling back. I check my mineral lines, I see that they're okay. I'm still continuously pumping out Marines and Marauders. And we get the dub. That's how you macro, ladies and gentlemen. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment. If you want to see more of this, subscribe, and also check out my educational commentary playlist right there. There. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye.